All right, everyone. And I was asked to, hey, Jeremy, tell me your thoughts about the whole Tiffany Haddish thing with PETA and her protest against police brutality. And hey, it's kind of ironic that she's going to be wearing animal fur, yet she's voicing a dog in The Secret Life of Pets 2. But then more people were telling me after the fact, hey, Jeremy, I know you did a couple videos about Kevin Hart and the Oscars, and he was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and he talked about it, and I really want to get your thoughts on it. To be honest, when I saw it, trending and whatnot, I didn't really think too much of it because at the moment I had already made my mind up about how I felt about it. If I were Kevin Hart and I've already addressed and apologized for this, yet I'm being attacked with tweets from 10 years ago when I'm hosting the Oscars, yet I've been doing all kinds of promotions, movies, comedy tours and specials, award shows, not the Oscars, but other award shows over the past 10 years. And these tweets have barely come up. Oh, they haven't come up to this level of attack. Then I wouldn't even do the Oscars. But I actually sat down and I'm recording this raw in terms of I literally just watched the entire interview. I think it was like 3 parts on YouTube where like the first 6 or 7 minutes is Kevin Hart addressing the Oscar controversy, how he feels about it. The second part was Ellen saying that she had called the Academy in order to get Kevin Hart back because he should definitely host the Oscars. And then the third part, I think, was like a couple minutes long, basically saying that he would evaluate and think about, this conversation he had, because I actually enjoyed that conversation. It was a conversation that needed to be had. I think it was a great thing to hear at the beginning of a new year, and just the society of trolls and cancel culture and bringing down celebrities, basically addressing this. I know this might ruffle some feathers here, but in a way, how last year, the beginning of 2018, was really about the Me Too times up. I think that this interview really was like representing the subject of trolls and cancel culture and how this is actually ridiculous. I think, and I'm going to go over my thoughts on the entire interview, but off the top, just talking about what I really think. I feel that if I were Kevin Hart, I wouldn't do it. And here's why. There were some very good points made in the first section of the interview when Kevin Hart was doing the talking. And it was really about how this was a dream on his vision board. Honestly, I ought to do one of those myself. To host the Oscars with not even 24 hours had passed from the time he had gotten the confirmation that, hey, we're going to get you to host Oscars, all the congratulations, all the celebration, and then like the next morning, here's when these tweets come up, and then the Academy gives you the ultimatum to either apologize or step down. And then he broke it down all the time. And this is something he might have addressed this in the past weeks, but I didn't hear about it. But I'm glad he broke down all the times in his previous promotional tools for like Get Hard, the movie with Will Ferrell. And he said a couple other times he had to address it as well in, very tense interviews. He already apologized for the tweets. They were 10 years old. He's not that kind of person anymore. Back then it was just, a guy looking for laughs, willing to just post anything. And he's made these jokes. If you go back to like his old, like I'm a grown little man and seriously funny, talking about, hey, no, that's gay, if two boys are kissing or whatever. He's done this in his comedy. So why is this being brought up now? And what really got me was the fact that, yeah, this was an attack because he's seen these kind of attacks and heard of these kinds of attacks on other celebrities, but this is the first time he's really come under fire himself. And he really talked about how this night, and this is another great point he made, and I think I made this point in another video, or my first video on the subject, that the Oscars is a tense night. Everybody's stressed out, worried about if they're going to win or not. And then usually to have a lighthearted host to kind of break the tension really makes a program that I don't even bother watching, something that I tune in for just for the jokes and whatnot. And even to see some of the sternest actors crack a smile, honestly, is a good thing to see. But to actually go up on stage with the midst of the homophobia and the tweets and everything he's being labeled as in the headlines to all these articles and videos, it would take away from that night. I full-heartedly agree with him that even if he decided to continue to host the Oscars, even though he did apologize again, it wouldn't be the same, because when you go on that stage, it's just like everybody's going to be looking at you not as Kevin Hart the comedian, but Kevin Hart, oh, you're the guy who tweeted those homophobic tweets and whatnot. And that would take away from the night for the winners to come up on stage, because really people wouldn't even be paying attention to the Oscars during social media. Social media during the Oscars would just be slander on Kevin Hart. People supporting Kevin Hart, people slandering Kevin Hart, when really it should be about the Oscars. So I definitely agree with that. And going into the next part of the interview, when and this was a good, guys, I definitely suggest go on YouTube, on Ellen's YouTube channel. It is a very good interview. Ellen was talking about how she personally called the Academy that morning. She thinks Kevin Hart should host because he's not that same guy from years ago. Trolls are out there, and I've heard this saying many times, but just hearing it from Ellen really does add weight to it. It's the whole thing about, it's a small group of people who are very loud. And that's literally who trolls are and what trolls are. And if you don't host, you're letting them win. But Kevin Hart had a good rebuttal in terms of, look, if I don't do it, if I do it, I'm going right back in a place that, he's going right back into the fire. And I think Ellen was talking about how the Academy is like, yeah, we would love him to host. We want him to host. I don't know what we need to do to get him back. I don't know if it was a matter of, did we handle it wrong, or if he misunderstood us. I think that was a bad word to use, and here's why. I know what it's like to work towards something and actually get to the fact when somebody tells, and I'm really in terms of like academia, or when I was in the workplace, working hard towards a goal of either a position or either an award or something along those lines. And then at the 11th hour, I'm hit with an ultimatum as to, hey, you can't get it because of such and such. I've had that happen to me before. Not in regards to social media posts, but just bad management. My attitude is, if I've worked towards something, I'll just, Kevin Hart, he worked towards the Oscars. It was a dream. Now, it's one thing, and I made a comment on one of the videos on the Ellen YouTube page. Believe it or not, I'm more upset at the Academy than the trolls who literally tried to attack Kevin Hart. And he broke it down like this was an attack to destroy me. It wasn't about the Oscars. It was about to tarnish everything from brand deals, sponsorships, partnerships, everything. I agree with that. But again, I feel the Academy did a poor job of handling it. And unless they had some kind of grandiose apology and whatnot, I wouldn't go back no matter what. Here's my thing with that. Ellen said it best, and I said it before. It's the trolls and the people who attack you and find these tweets. This was an attack to go back through 40, because Kevin Hart said, I'm on social media every day, over 40,000 tweets. People went back on purpose to find this stuff from like 10 years ago. The troll community is a small group making a lot of noise. But, a lot of noise sometimes equates to a lot of power, hence why those headlines flew all over the place. The Academy makes the decisions. What has me upset is that not just with the people jumping on board of the Kevin Hart homophobic train, they don't put any effort into finding the times that Kevin Hart apologized, to finding the interviews Kevin Hart has done where he addressed these things. The Academy pretty much just felt, oh my God, shoot, if we let this guy host, we're going to be faced with a lot of backlash and whatnot. Instead of defending Kevin Hart by making it clear, like, hey, Kevin Hart did address these tweets, time and time again, we still want him to host, and he's already apologized for it. Instead of backing him up, the very people who pretty much held the dream that Kevin Hart has worked toward and were handing it to him, they pretty much were the ones who snatched it away, held it in front of him, and it's like, hey, unless you do like we asked you to, which is to apologize, you're not going to get this back. So you can either apologize and we'll hand you this dream job of hosting the Oscars, or you don't apologize and we'll find somebody else. My attitude is fuck them. I wouldn't do it. Because if you really wanted me to host, you would have helped defend me. It would have been one thing if this was recent, like if Kevin Hart pulled a Roseanne, and that's some people were asking me, well, Jeremy, how can you say that about Kevin Hart? How he should, you know, not be asked to step down for the Oscars because of tweets from 10 years ago. Yet you thought it was right for like Roseanne to be fired after her tweets on it from, you know, about, you know, the whole monkey, calling the black woman monkey and her ABC show being canceled. It's a matter of time because Roseanne literally put those things out and it was dealt with swiftly. Whereas Kevin Hart, it's not about white or black when it comes to comparing these two scenarios. It's the fact that Kevin Hart put these tweets up like 10 years ago. He's already addressed it. And as he even stated, and he's correct, he's not done anything like that over the past 10 years in terms of making a lot of jokes about it in his comedy, making social media posts like that again, because again, he's on social media all the time. If you follow him, you know. So in my mind, this was definitely an attack. And this is a bit touchy, but some people might actually, you can equate it in a way to like the whole Me Too Time's Up movement in regards of how far are we going back in terms of these sexual allegation cases? Like, is there an expiration date on how far we can go? Are we going back to like the Thomas Jefferson days and whatnot when there were slaves and black women being raped and whatnot? Or are we only going to like, you know, the 60s, 70s, 80s, like, you know, big time drug use and whatnot? How far are we going with this? So in my mind, this interview needed to be done. I feel like, even though I'm going to be honest here, I thought that the Breakfast Club might have covered this one because Kevin Hart does make a lot of appearances on it. I feel like it actually makes a lot of sense to have it on the Ellen DeGeneres show because with her being gay herself, being a close friend with Kevin Hart, this was definitely a great interview. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a link to I'm going to put a link to each part of the interview. Yeah, they're going to be in the comment section. You know how I do. I'll make a comment. I'll pin it to the top. You will see the links to all three parts of the interview. And I really want to get this discussion going, but let me know your thoughts. Do you think that this was an attack on Kevin Hart's character, not just for the Oscars, but to destroy him? Number two, do you think if the Academy wants it, and this is one thing that makes me upset, like the Academy, you have no right to make it feel like, oh, Kevin Hart, you know, well, you know, we want you for the job, so if you want it, you can come back. I would not. No, I'm not crawling back. No, I'm not. No, I don't think that's the. Sorry about that. I accidentally spilled some of my water here. I don't think that's the right thing. Kevin Hart, like when he cheated on his wife, I didn't think that was cool at all in regards to what was this? I want to say late 2017, because in that situation he was doing promotions for his book. I actually owned the book. It's the book he has where he's on the front cover of a bunch of puppies, and like in all the interviews he was doing, it was like, you know, that's my rib, and you know, she's my soulmate and stuff like that. But then next thing you know, while she's pregnant, you're cheating on her. And he addressed it, and like, you know, in that interview, I'm like, but in this situation, I feel like it's definitely different, where he definitely has shown change in regards to the whole, you know, telling these gay jokes and whatnot. So on this part, I do side with Kevin Hart. I wish him the best of luck. Whatever decision he makes, I think it will be a good one. You know, he's definitely going to evaluate it, but in my opinion, I wouldn't do it. And yes, Ellen did say, you know, hey, if you don't do it, you're only letting the trolls win. Very true. But personally, just looking at this situation from the outside in, or excuse me, yeah, from the outside, and if being in a similar position like this in myself in the past, I'm more upset at the Academy. That's how I feel. So with that being said, I really want to get a good discussion going. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And if there are any hot media topics you want me to talk about, I will definitely look into it. And if I really feel like I have a good understanding of the situation and an opinion, I'll definitely speak on it. So guys, let's keep it civil in the comment section below. I mean, I know this is the internet, so it can get wild, but let me know your thoughts. Like, really, it's not about whether or not you think Kevin Hart is funny, because not once in this video, until now, of course, I never even addressed it. I don't think it's a matter of him being funny to you or funny to me. It's a matter of right and wrong. And I feel the Academy did Kevin wrong by giving him the ultimatum than actually backing him up. So tell me your thoughts. Let's get the discussion going, and I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.